I'm Hollie.
I'm Ryan.
We're Salonology and welcome to our salon-flavoured, inspirational and rib-tickingly funny podcast, The Salonology Show.
Yes, let's check if you're in the right place because this podcast is not for just any old Tom, Dick or Harry. This podcast is for salon owners, mobile salon owners, at-home salons, solopreneurs. Maybe those are the big teams, those are the little teams, those are anything in between. Anyone who is a business owner in the hair, beauty, aesthetic, spa, or even clinical space, you, my friends, are in the right space. This is episode 9 of the Salonology Show. Let's go.
Can I just take a second to talk about last week?
Yes, you may.
We had Pete Scott on. And if you're not familiar with Pete Scott, you probably will know him if you're in the industry. But Pete is, shall we call him a sales transformation expert?
Yes, we shall.
And
friend of the show.
Friend of the show. We like Pete. He's a fab guy.
We do.
And it was a really amazing podcast with him because we talked about sales within the salon business. And that was sort of the focus of it. And I have to say, he has got some incredible concepts that he delivers and what he does. And they are really quite potentially transformational for people's businesses, aren't they?
Definitely. I think that it's well worth, anyone who didn't listen to episode 8, go back, download it, listen to it, and go and check out Pete and go and look at a bit more of his stuff. He's got loads of free videos on his YouTube channel. He shares loads of content online, and it's well worth checking it out because I think that the whole approach to how most salon owners doing transactional selling as opposed to transformational selling to, I think, quote Pete, I think he said that, but I might have just made that up. I'm not really sure.
No, that's right.
So, going from selling £50 creams and lotions to a £2,000 solution for your client, which serves them at a higher level whilst also being much, much more profitable for your business. So yeah, really, really good. And it's one of those things as well, actually, that kind of links in nicely to one of the things we've spoken about before within our community, which is where someone comes into your business and they can't spend more than £100 with you, then there's a problem. And there's a lot of businesses where that does exist. And it's like, if I was a client and I wanted to come and spend £250 with you today, is it even possible for me to do that? And if it's not, then I think as a salon owner, you want to have a look at that because I think that you're not going to be maximizing your profitability and you're not going to be getting the best solutions and results you could for your clients as well.
And he's also a thoroughly nice man.
Top man.
Yeah. So we've had some fabulous guests with us so far. And of course, we want that to continue. We want to keep bringing you wonderful people who you're going to love to listen to, who can share value for our industry, who can enlighten us, who can share their stories and can make it as thoroughly entertaining as we like the Salonology Show to be. So, of course, if there's anybody that you would love to hear on the show, we're talking industry experts, we're talking inspirational characters, people who you think have a wonderful message or story to share. We'd love to feature them on our podcast. So reach out to us and we will add them to our list.
Yeah, absolutely. And up next is one of our most popular regular features where our very own Hollie plays agony aunt to you. And again, not only would we like you to get in touch with us if you've got any suggestions for guests, but if you've got a question, if you've got a dilemma, if you are a loose end and no one else can help, then maybe you should drop an email to Auntie Hollie, Hollie at salonology.uk. Here is this week's question. And in a slight break from the norm, this time it's been read by our nephew, not a normal niece. I don't know where she is, but she's on holiday. She's having a break somewhere. This is 7-year-old Jack. Jack, take it away.
What would Auntie Hollie do?
I have been working with a skincare brand for a few years now. They used to be really good at looking after me and helping grow our salon. Over the last year, they don't really bother with us and tell us we need to spend more money with them when we hear from them. and my website and treatments reflect this company, but I'm thinking of changing. What can I do?
Well, thank you, my very handsome little nephew, Jack, for that. And just to reiterate, Jack's asking on behalf of somebody who's been working with a skincare brand for a few years, and they're now feeling that they're not really getting the same amount of support that they had previously, but they've kind of invested in this company and they want to know what they can do to move forward. This is not the first time I've heard this question.
No.
Especially at the moment.
Yeah.
I keep hearing this story. And the story is, I've invested my money in a brand. They were really, really helpful. They showed up for me. And now things are different. Things have changed. And there seems to be a radical shift with a lot of companies who seem to have taken their foot off the gas pedal when it comes to looking after their clients. And what I think is probably really digging this in and making it that much worse for everybody who has a salon is that most of the salon owners in our community have continued to show up for their clients throughout, difficult up and down times. They've consistently been there for their clients no matter what. And I think they feel a bit shortchanged that they've put all that effort in and the suppliers that they've been loyal to have kind of dropped their ball a little bit. And I don't think that's right. And I keep hearing this story and it's sort of one extreme to the other. Either their suppliers are like really, really showing up. They're doing everything for them. They're there. They're helping them with additional training. They're putting content out there, or there is nothing. Just a tumbleweed blowing in the wind, no support. Phones have gone down, emails aren't answered. This is extremely frustrating because as salon owners, we want to work with a brand that we're interested in that, makes us feel good, that we know that we can get on board with. So when that suddenly changes and we suddenly lose that, that's a really difficult thing to process because we've often invested a lot of money in the brands. We've invested money to have them on our price lists. A lot of our stuff is branded around them. A lot of the treatments we deliver may be in conjunction with that particular brand house as well. And it's really, really difficult for us to take that big step. At the moment, a lot of people are making that change though. A lot of people are saying, you know what? How can I move forward with this business? It's time for me to make some big changes. And I think there's a shift in the industry at the moment where people are starting to look at who else is out there and who can serve them better and who can help them move their business forward.
It's interesting because this is one of the things we touched on a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about salon software and how certain salon software companies have stepped up much better than other ones. The same can be true with a lot of the suppliers.
Yeah.
And not only that, with some of the big brands, I think that some of this was going on even it's pre-COVID as well,
Oh, yeah.
Are we allowed to talk about the story that happened when a representative of a company who we couldn't possibly announce came and had a conversation with you?
When I got particularly angry.
When they wanted to talk to you about targets?
Yeah, I am going to share this
Because this
story.
is a great example of how disconnected some brands are and how it's the wrong way around. They're there to support you.
Yeah.
And this is, God, I'll leave. Well, you can tell the story.
I'm going to tell this story.
Go on then.
So we were working with a particular product brand that was a very, very well-respected brand in the industry. And we got on board with them because of that. And we invested a lot of money, both with products and equipment. And we worked with them fairly happily for a good few years. And we had some wonderful reps. But the reps changed quite commonly, quite regularly. And a new rep was introduced to us one particular day. And I'd actually already had a couple of difficult processes on the phone with this particular rep because she hadn't been calling me up. I hadn't been having any communication with the brand. We hadn't had any updates. We didn't know about new products. We'd had no visits from anybody. So when somebody finally got in touch with me from the company and spoke to me, I explained that I was a bit frustrated as a client, spending quite a lot of money with them. And she got very upset with me that I had actually suggested that I didn't think that it was acceptable.
How dare you?
And it really took me back because I thought she would say, you know what, I hear you. I'm there for you. Let me get you through this. And, I want to come to you, get to know you and see how I can help you moving forward. Now I'm on board. So I was very, very disappointed. We'd missed out on a lot of things, a lot of opportunities, a lot of, launches, and we kind of just been forgotten about. So I was sort of ready for this rep to come in and kind of make amends. And she came in and she sort of sat down with me. And we went through some things. And I couldn't tell you if it was the first meeting or the second meeting with her. I think it was probably the first, where she told me that I wasn't performing. And I said,
you weren't performing.
I wasn't performing. And
Okay.
I said, I'm sorry, what what are you talking about? I wasn't really sure what she meant. And she said, your numbers are not high enough. And I thought, how does she know my turnover figures? They're great. We're doing really well. What is she talking about? And then she said, no, you're not spending enough with us. Basically, she was telling me she wasn't going to hit her target because,
which is the most important thing here.
Because I wasn't spending enough money. Now, I reminded her that my goal in business is not to spend more, it's to spend less, as is most businesses. And I was incredibly shocked that a representative of such a big, reputable company would come in and berate me and almost tell me off for not spending enough money with them. And let's, remember, we were spending multiple thousands per month. So it was an extremely frustrating time, and it led me to really, really question my relationship with this company. And had I continued to have ownership of the business, there was no question in my mind that I would have moved away from that business.
So there's probably lots of other people who are in the same position thinking that they might want to change. In fact, I know there are, because it's one of the most common questions we get asked in our Facebook group. There we do it at facebook.com/groups/Salonology.
Plug.
But what should those people be looking for then? So if you were, let's say, let's rewind, and you are still a salon owner again, then what would you be looking for? How would you, what would you be doing to determine who you can approach? Because they all look like they're going to be a great option, don't they? On day one, that's not really the problem.
No, it's not. And the thing is, it's very easy to be kind of taken over by bells and whistles when you look at these different brands. There is just such a huge number of companies out there offering professional skincare or professional hair care or nail care or tanning or waxing, whatever it is, to people in our industry. And it's very difficult to almost wade through it all, because you're trying to find somebody, and this is the key word here, it's got to be somebody who's in alignment with you as a business, okay? It's got to be somebody who's in alignment with you, because if you can't work, if they don't have the same goals and the same dreams for you and your business as you have, they're never going to help you get there. And it's not just about you going online and ordering some cleansers. It's actually about working in conjunction with each other to build the brand via your salon. So, they need to feel honoured, really, that you're going to give them the opportunity to spread their product line within your business. So it should be a two-way agreement here. It should be very much that you're not jumping through every hoop for them to allow you to sell the products, but also that you should be ensuring that they're right for your business and your clients. So the first thing we want to look at is what your business goals are. Where do you see your business going? Are you going to get bigger or smaller? Because that's happening at the moment. You see people who've got 15 staff who then have made the decision they want to work solo. So, a product house that might go, oh, well, I'm not going to work with you now because there's only one of you. Even if you're the best therapist in the world and you're skilled and you're selling high-end treatments and you're stocking retail and you're doing really well, are they going to drop you because you don't have enough of a large enough team or a number of rooms? These are the sorts of things that you need to know and think about your goals long-term in your business. Are they going to work alongside those goals with you? Where is your business going? Where do you pitch seeing it? If you're going to turn this into 15 different salons and you're going to go international, can they support you on that? Because it costs money and it takes time to invest in a brand. You need to make sure that who you jump in bed with now is going to be there for the long term. It's a marriage. It's not a short-term fling, because you're investing a lot of your time, energy and money into this business. What do you want to do in your business? If you are somebody who is specializing or long-term wants to specialize in anti-aging treatments, you're going to want to look for a brand that works with a great, maybe with aesthetic machinery and the product line that is going to deliver the results that your clients want. You're not going to want to get something that's going to suit teenagers with acne if your goal is to target people who are 40 plus and anti-aging. If you are a vegan hair salon or looking to go down into a vegan hair salon route and you're looking for your new hair care supplier, you're going to want to look for a colour brand that is vegan or is going eco-friendly, because it's got to fit in with the long-term goals of your business. But it's also got to work alongside what your clients' goals are as well, because they're going to buy into you to a degree based on the brands that you align yourself with. The exclusivity of the brands, what they offer, what the products deliver, where else you can buy the products. This is a huge thing as well at the moment. And again, consistent problem. Somebody is not so keen on investing in a brand where they can go and buy that same skincare that you want to be selling them from another high street shop or an online place. I'm not going to say any
let's
specifics.
Not mention any. Let's not
specifics.
mention any names there. But also, all right. So moving on from that, then, how do you think we mentioned that a lot of them aren't getting the support they need? How can the big brands support salons more? Then, what should they be doing that they're not? Do you feel?
I mean, at the moment, more than anything, people need emotional support through this difficult time. We've had a difficult, challenging time, and people want help. People want to understand how their brands are going to be there the other side. They want to learn how they can still sell those products to their clients if they can't physically see them. What can they be doing online? Are they setting up systems to help them make that possible? Or are they sort of undercutting them and going directly to their clients themselves? Are they making it easier for you to survive this, or are they making it harder for you to survive it? This is the question. And there's certain brands that I've seen, they have turned up with huge amounts of content. They've been doing live videos. They've been adding in additional training at no cost. They've been taking all their training online. So if you have a team and your team can't go to work, they can actually use their time productively to develop their skills and learn how to deliver better treatments when their salons reopen. There's a million and one things that some of the great companies have been doing out there for their clients. And there's a million and one things that some of them aren't doing for their clients. And that's really where their line is sitting. So it's actually showing up for them every day, showing up for them one way or another and supporting them. Maybe not financially, that's obviously always a difficult subject, but there's plenty of other things they can be doing to support their clients.
Do you think that the way that people meet these brands and the suppliers is changing? Specifically, what I'm referencing there is obviously originally, let's think back, right, when we're opening the salon 10 years ago, or more than that now. And what was the first thing you do? Right, I'm going to get tickets to Pro Beauty and Olympia Beauty and Beauty UK and go to all the shows. And you go in there and you meet the same companies, typically the biggest companies who have got the largest budget to buy the biggest stands, some of which look like a spaceship has landed in the middle of the hall. And you go around and you talk to these big brands because they've got the most prominent positions. Now, as we're recording this at the beginning of 2021, there are not too many exhibitions going on. So how people can contact and get in touch with these brands is obviously going to be different now. So how does someone choose now? If you can't go and see them all, how do you choose?
Well, this is the question, isn't it? And as you say, you go along to one of these big exhibitions and they're fabulous and they're great fun. And you go along and you get a bit dressed up and, you know, they're very glittery and sparkly and lots of wonderful stuff. But if you actually come down to the core of the ultimate point of going to these exhibitions, in the case that we are right now, we're looking for a new brand. How do you possibly go into that building in one day or maybe two if you stay overnight? How do you possibly go in and start defining who's going to work with you, who's going to be the right business? Because these big companies as well, you can go along, but you don't get a chance to talk to anybody who you're going to have a long-term relationship with. You know, they're so busy, they're so overwhelmed that sometimes the sole purpose of them there is just to sell stock. And we're trying to find different ways now, different ways of how, you know, we can connect with people and how we can find these brands that are a little bit more unique, they're a little bit more customer focused, that maybe have more of the ethics and the morals that we're more keen on searching for when we look for businesses. So, you know, there's lots of different things that we can do. We can sit and we can go through the internet and we look for the companies. The companies are out there. We're creating something at the moment, aren't we?
Sure.
We're putting something together, a spotlight where we can showcase these brands, where we can showcase who they are and what they do for the salon industry. And that's something we've already started doing and we're having great success with it. We're getting these brands in front of people. That's what we want to be doing. But ultimately, it's not just about going to a flashy stand nowadays. It's about thinking about what is so important to you as a business owner, what you need from your brand supplier, how they're going to support you, how they're going to move forward with you, how they can help you grow as a business. Because that's what we're here to do, right? We're not just here for the fun of it. We're here because we're business owners and we want to get a result. And in order to get that result, we need the right suppliers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is also why it's worth sometimes speaking with some of the smaller companies, because you're going to get more personal service. They're going to care about you more. They're going to care about the results that you get more. And they're going to have different goals, right? And definitely we're seeing lots of people within our community who are having great success with what would be considered, you know, smaller, in parentheses, clients. Excellent. Okay, now time for a quick message from our sponsors.
I'm Hollie from Salonology, and when I have my spa, I use timely appointment booking software. I loved their innovative features, which help me to deliver an exceptional client experience, build a booming and busy business, and give me the freedom to run my salon how I wanted. Their UK-based support team were always there to help with my needs, but what wasn't there was long-term contracts or hidden fees. As one of our listeners, you can exclusively enjoy 50% off Timely for your first 3 months when you go to www.gettimely.com and use the promo code Salonology. I'm Hollie Power, and I recommend Timely appointment booking software. And now it's time for this.
Hi-ho, everyone. Welcome to the Salonology Show. Now, without further ado, it's time for Ryan's Rant! Yay!
So, Ryan.
Hello, Hollie.
Tell me, who has annoyed you this week?
I'll tell you who's annoyed me this week, and it's got absolutely nothing to do with our industry or salons in the slightest, but it doesn't mean they've annoyed me any less. And it's a particular breed of person who does this, and it absolutely infuriates me, and I can't possibly be alone. And that is people who walk along with their mobile phone on speakerphone for seemingly no reason, who talk really loudly into it as they're walking along. You know who I'm talking about? Are you familiar with these people?
Well, I am, but I giggle because I do this.
You do this? Well, it's flipping annoying. So if you wouldn't mind, stop. We don't do it in my presence.
I don't, but I do it when I walk the dog in the
Why?
morning because I don't want to hold a mobile phone to my head.
Why not?
Because it's really warm and I want to be able to
How
pay
long are you on the
attention
phone for?
to my dog. Well, I usually speak to my mum when I'm walking the dog in the morning. So I walk around the park and I put my mum on speakerphone.
Well, these people I'm
And-
talking about typically don't have a dog with them. They're
Okay.
not dog walking. They're walking down the street. They're walking around the supermarket. It's so annoying. The rest of the world do not want to hear your conversation, okay? And it's pointless. Just take off speakerphone and put it next to your head. You will hear them better. They will hear you better. If you don't want to walk around with a phone strapped to your head, then why not just use some headphones, which come with every mobile phone anyway? It really isn't difficult. And especially at the moment, it's been even more annoying because people are wearing masks. They're then literally screaming into their phone, and I just don't understand why they do it. It makes absolutely no sense. It's so annoying. It's so infuriating. They're not looking where they're going. They're meandering along, screaming into their phone so everyone else can hear the other part of the conversation. Absolute nonsense. It's not a flipping walkie-talkie. It's a mobile phone, and it really annoys me.
We're just going to call this hashtag speakerphone gate.
It's annoying. It's so annoying. Anyway, I'm glad. I feel better now. I've got that off my.
He really has. He
off my
looks
chest.
visibly relieved, people, although slightly disturbed that his wife does this.
Well, I never knew that about you. I feel
No.
this has just changed everything.
It's changed everything. Oh dear. You heard it here first, folks.
Look, we're going to round up today with some questions from our tribe. Hashtag Salonology Tribe.
I love our tribe.
Well, me too. And we asked for a load of questions the other week. We got a load in. We didn't have any time to go through these last time because, quite frankly, we'd waffled on for too long. So we're going to attack some of them today. So if you've got a question that you would like to pose to either of us, then you can just fire us an email. It's hello@salonology.uk. And we would be more than happy to address them for you. And Hollie, I'm going to start with a question to you.
Okay.
From Jess.
Cool. Hi, Jess.
Hi, Jess. And Jess asks, Hollie, would you own a salon again?
Ooh, that's a good question. Not the first time I've heard it. And probably the answer would be different now to what it was then. And it would probably change on a daily basis because it's kind of circumstantial, really. I always kind of planned to potentially open a skin clinic or something similar. And I felt that I had all the tools and equipment to open one very, very successfully. And I still feel like that. However, it became very, very apparent after I sold my first business and I started getting more involved in our Salonology brand and spending more time on it because I had more time, really how much I could make a difference within this business, and that I would be taken away from it again if I was to open a salon. And I wasn't really prepared to do that because I feel this way, I can help lots and lots of people have super successful salons rather than just me have a super successful salon. And there's certain elements of being a salon owner that I really, really miss. And there's certain things about it that I think, oh, that would have been fun. And I really enjoyed that. And I love the challenge of this. And I wish I could try doing this. But I have a platform where I can share those ideas and inspiration to other people now who can choose to pick it up if they wish to and use the ideas that I would have done. And that's actually even more fun to watch because then I get to see loads of people pick those up and make them their own and do their own really cool things. And that's probably for me a more satisfying angle now for where I am in my life and what I want to achieve. So I absolutely loved having my salon. And I learned so much. But now, as it stands, no, I probably wouldn't open a salon again.
Never say never, but not for now.
Not for now. I'm going to chuck a question right back at you, Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
This one's from Lucy. And
Hello,
she
Lucy.
says, hello, Lucy. She says, what's the best way to stay organised and focused when working on your business?
Best way to stay organised and focused. Yeah. Okay. So
I know what she's asking for here. She's expecting you to say an annoying word that you say all the time. And she says it all the time as well.
what word's that? Is it Trello? Look, other organisational apps are available. I'm not here to plug Trello by any stretch of the imagination, but that isn't in itself the best way to stay focused and connected when working on your business. And just to clarify what working on your business means for anyone who's new to our world or not familiar with the terminology which I employ there, this is all about spending time, making time in your diary, in your schedule to work on your business. And by on your business, that means doing the activities which grow specifically your business. So that means not doing your job. It means not delivering treatments. That's your job. It means not doing anything else that, you know, falls under the banner of carrying out day-to-day tasks, right? The stuff that grows your business is doing things like writing emails, writing long form blog posts, creating advertisements, all these types of things, right? So how do you stay focused when doing these things? I think that the number one way to stay focused, I suppose, just by definition, is by removing the distractions. Because as soon as you remove all the distractions, then what else are you going to be doing? So I think this is one of the biggest problems. Everyone now is so addicted to the dopamine hit of a mobile telephone that everyone is just looking at it every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I read a horrifying statistic the other day, which is the average person checks their mobile phone 150 times a day. That is a staggering number. And therein lies the problem. So my number one tip actually for anyone who wants to stay more focused when doing a specific task is put your phone in a different room.
Good tip, that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. And speaking of tips, Leslie has asked for some of your tips on going live. Going live. I'm assuming she's talking about going live on social media and not going live the TV show off of the 80s.
I loved going live as well.
Hashtag Gordon the Gopher.
Yeah, I loved that.
Was he on it? I don't know.
I don't know. Ed the Duck, was he that?
Oh, I loved Ed the Duck.
Ed the Duck was cool.
He was good, wasn't he?
Little yellow
It
thing.
definitely had Scoff was involved in some capacity, I feel. No, or was it Andy Crane? Do you know what? I think it might have been Andy Crane.
All I can tell you is that Gordon is my maiden name, so guess what I got called at school?
Don't know.
Gordon the Gopher.
Got it.
Yeah. Or Hollie the Wally is the other one.
Oh dear, it's not
I
very
know.
nice. Well,
Anyway.
who's laughing now, eh, babes?
Yeah, there we go. I'm sharing tips on going live. So, Leslie, going live is something that people have this huge fear about, and then they do it and they go, that wasn't so bad, and then they realize how massively effective it is for business. There's lots of things that you can do to be prepared for going live, but in the most simplest of forms, don't overthink it. Have an idea of what you're going to talk about and just focus on one thing. Write yourself some bullet points so you can kind of stay on track and stick them up next to your camera. Make sure it's a minimum of 2 minutes. the first time you do it, and engage with the audience as much as you can. But as soon as you start your video, the top tip probably is to not just go, hello, everyone. Hiya, I'm just popping on. Hello, hello, Jane. Hello. Oh, here is Ronald. Hi, Ronald. To actually just say, hi, everyone. I am so-and-so. I'm going to be talking about this today. And then you can just fill for a little bit, but just get that information straight out there so people know what to expect, so they know to stick around. One of my friends said to me recently, I gave her a shout out at the beginning of one of my lives and she didn't hear it because she said, I fast forward that bit because it's really boring. And I think that's probably the case for a lot of people. So get straight to the good content, don't fill too much. And also don't overstress yourself about it. It's great for business. It's great for your reach. It's great for your engagement. But also it's not the biggest and scariest thing in the world. It's just talking to a camera and just communicating with your people. If you can wax somebody's leg or, micro needle in somebody's eyebrows, it's not the right word, but you know what I mean, then you can go live.
Absolutely.
I'm going to chuck one last question right back at you.
Okay.
And this is also by Leslie. And she said, Brian, should I add products to my website?
Who asked this, sorry?
Leslie.
Same Leslie, or don't we know?
I don't know. I think it's the same Leslie.
Well, yes, you should. You should have your products on your website. But here's the problem with this, okay? I think a lot of people make the assumption, wrongly, that if they add all of their products onto their website, then all of a sudden, overnight, they're going to sell loads of products. And the sad reality is that for most people, they won't. They might not sell any. And the reason why is multiple fold. Firstly, first problem you're going to have is you've listed a product on your website and that same identical product is almost certainly listed on hundreds, possibly thousands of other websites. And some of those other websites are going to be much, much better optimized than yours. Some of them are going to come from a website that Google deems to have much more authority and credibility. And it'll mean that, quite frankly, even if someone is searching for that exact product, you're probably not even going to show up on the first page of Google. And how many people go click onto the second page, Well, actually, I can tell you that answer. It's 0.2%. So very, very few people. So therefore, straight away, you're probably not going to get that much traffic. The second issue you've got is that there's going to be some people that might land on your page and on your product. And then what they do is they then go straight back into Google and then they type the name of the product in again in some sort of vain attempt to try and find it cheaper. So you lose those people as well. So you might be thinking at this point, Leslie, well, why would I bother? Well, here's the reason why you would bother, because you still might sell some, but the key is that you're going to be selling them to people who already know you. It's going to be your existing clients. It's going to be those people that know you, like you, trust you, and love you. And the other reason why it's still worthwhile having them listed on your website is because, especially at the moment, where there are some restrictions in some areas about how much people can open, at the moment, there's a strong idea that you can go live, a bit like you were just talking about. You can do a product demonstration, talk about the results you can get with a certain product, and then you need to send them somewhere, right? So you can still at that point then send them to your website and your own dedicated page. So you will still get some website sales if you're driving traffic there. And again, you could easily do that. You could write a blog about your, product of the week with a link to it. You could write a really nice email with the product of the week. You might get someone else on to talk about their experiences with it. So there are ways that you can drive traffic there, but the reason why I've said all of this is because I don't want people to think, oh, well, if I just put products on my website overnight, I'm going to be sold out tomorrow. Because I think that's what some people think. And it just does not work like that.
And can I just add, it's quite a lot of work, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a lot of work.
It's a hell of a lot of work. Like, you're basically building a whole e-commerce shop. Even with, a skin in place and you're adding and dropping, you still got to get all your letters in and your words in and your postage and your various different descriptions and, different systems. And it's a complex process. So if you're going to go into it realizing you're going to have to get everybody on there. It's not going to be there as a shop that just sells out like, a supermarket.
No,
supermarket does.
You've got to take responsibility for getting people onto that site, and the chances are your margins are not large enough that you could run paid adverts to get people there. So you're going to be reliant on you driving that traffic there yourself. So as I say, product demonstrations and stuff like that are great, especially at the moment. Yeah, that's I've got no problem with doing that whatsoever. And if you've got a big social media following, for example, you might get some business from it that way. But for most people, it's not going to be the passive income stream, let's say, that maybe they had hoped for, or maybe they've been sold on by the web design company.
Well, that was very helpful. Thanks, Ryan. And that is a wrap for episode 9 of the Salonology Show. Please subscribe to our podcast. Please share it with your friends.
Yeah.
And of course, you must use the hashtags, hashtag Salonology Show and hashtag Salonology Tribe.
Yes.
And let us know how you feel about it. And of course, don't forget hashtag Speakerphone Gate.
Well, I'm not sure they should be hashtagging that, should they?
We'll be back for episode 10 in 2 weeks' time with another very special guest.
Yes, we will.
Woohoo! We'll look forward to seeing you then. Bye, everyone.
Bye.